Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. And what is this video about? Well, I am going to show you how I made this, whatever this is. This is a patch I made last night and I posted a little clip to social media. Loads of people seem to like it and thought I would make it from scratch. What is it? It's kind of like an experimental 3D geometry thing with some flashy lights, and then I've kind of applied some post-processing to make it look a little bit like a sort of 80s cartoon in that sort of outline shading kind of thing, a little bit like Roller Drome, which I played for a little bit earlier this year because it was free on the PlayStation. It's sort of got this kind of look about it. It's kind of 80s sort of manga anime, I suppose. I don't know much about this sort of stuff, but I just thought, oh, it looks a bit like that, doesn't it? So yeah, we're going to do this. It's a little, it's not really complicated, but it is a little deep. It's a little bit of work, but it won't take too long. So we're going to do that right now. So I hope you enjoy this. Right, let's do it. Let's delete that. First of all, let's make a jit.world and let's say at floating 1 at enable 1. And let's say at erase color 0001, and then we get a black empty world. Okay, very good. So then I'm going to make a jit.gl.grid shape. Whoops, at grid shape at shape sphere. We can change that later if we want. At dimensions 100 by 100, and at matrix output 1. Oh, wait, I didn't turn my screen cursor on. Oh, let's do that right now. Okay, there we go. Right, let's zoom in a little bit because it's still a little big. Right, okay, so we've got a sphere here and we're outputting the matrix, and I'm going to use that with a jit.gl.multiple. Oh, it's early in the morning. I'm not warmed up for typing. Jit.gl.multiple. We're going to use 2 params, and those params are going to be GL params position and scale. So that's good. We can plug the output of that straight into this input, but then we're going to need an input here for our scale, and we're going to do that with a jit.matrix 3 float 32. Let's just say it's 1 to start with, see if this works, because I only want 1 number to set the scale for all the multiple instances. Then we need a message here, set all, no, $1, comma, bang. And then we can plug that into that matrix, and then I can make a float here, and then I should be able to set the size of all of them, and then I'll make a jit.gl.gridshape, and this can be a cube at shape cube, and then we can plug that in there, and then let's lock the patch and let's dial this. Whoa, okay. There we go. So we have a sphere made of loads of cubes. Right, that's very nice. Okay, now I'm going to make a jit.gl.PBR. I'm going to connect that to the multiple, and that's now going to start applying some PBR business. And I want to load in a HDRI, and I'm going to do that via a jit.gl.environment. I'm going to write, option, click the environment. I'm going to steal this little bit of the patch here. Just because that's a little quicker than just doing it from scratch. Let's paste that in there. And then I'm going to go to HD. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go to what's it called? Polyhaven. Yeah, so Polyhaven, you can go and get some free HDRIs. I'm going to download this one. This is just a sky. Okay, that's very nice. That's there now. Go back to Max, lock the patch, go to my Finder, drag that into the environment, and you can't see it yet, but now the environment is mapped in the world, and we can actually have a look at that if we make a jit.gl.skybox. There we go, there we are, our world now has an environment. How nice is that? So, right, we're going to move around the world now, and we're going to do that with jit.gl.camera. I'm going to say at look at 000 at look 1 at tripod 1. That's all very nice. And then I'm going to make a jit. Oh my goodness me, jit.anim drive. I'm going to say at UI listen 1. I'm going to connect that to my camera now. So when I hover the mouse over here, I can move around. But I'm not a big fan of WASD. I'm not a PC gamer, and I'm also mousing with my left hand. So using WASD is not really for me. So all I can do is just go in here and change these to some keys that I want. So A, I can say I want to be left. D, I want to be right. W, I want to be up. And S, I want to be down. And then I can close that. And then now I can move around. Yeah, with the arrow keys, with my right hand, this is much better. Okay, I like that very much. So, right, we've got this cool little sphere made from cubes in space. I think maybe I want to tell the PBR roughness at roughness 0. And I think what that will do is that will kind of make this all a little bit more shiny, but it's still pretty hard to tell anyway. Okay, that's fine. I actually want to also change the color, so I'll go to matte diffuse on the PBR here. Oh, it's already getting a bit of a mess. Right, let's put that there. Right, okay, now I can change the color to this. Eggplant. Yes, eggplant. Let's go with eggplant. All right. And we can make these bigger if we want. We can make these all... Whoa, a little bit too big. So yeah, we can see that there is a bit of shininess in there, but this isn't a particularly reflective environment world, I guess. It's... Yeah, but we can still... It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Right, okay. So now I'm going to do some displacement on this part of the patch using jit.noise. Let's move this up here. Let's move this all up here, and let's come down a little bit with this stuff, and we'll make a jit.noise 3 float 32. I'm going to say with dimensions of 10 by 10. And I'm going to bang this noise, but I'm going to do this using a speed lim, because I've recently found out that speed lim you can do with note values. So I'm going to say I want to speed limit these render bangs at 1n, which is basically 1 bar at the transport. And I can connect the... Let's maybe make this a bit neat. Let's say S render bang. And then connect that to the jit.world. Then come out of here and then do this with R render bang. Okay, thank you very much. Put that in there. And then that in there. Okay, so now we're getting noise every 1 bar. But it's kind of scaled nicely to the frame rate. At least that's what I think is happening. I'm a little bit new to speed lim. It's pretty interesting. You can just sort of like a delay, but not really. So here, for example, like it's just sending random numbers, but if I bang this, now it's going to do it every bar, which I thought, or every quarter note, which is pretty interesting, pretty useful. Anyway, let's see if this works. So actually, why don't we quickly just make a transport here, and then we can sort of keep an eye on our tempo, and we can turn the transport on and off as well. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to click here. I'm going to go Shift J, multiply, and that's it. And all I'm going to do is just plug that into there, and then we'll get this sort of stuff. Woo! Pretty fun. And if we wanted to, we could change to, let's get rid of that. We don't need that now. We can put this here, something like this, pull this down a little bit. We could change the shape here if we want. So basically what we're doing is we're starting with a matrix that is going to determine the shape of all the instances. And then we're applying that to the multiple, which then goes to the shape. So we could have 2 different sort of shapes, a starting shape and an ending shape. So let's create some attributes here for the shape. So the first shape, we can say, all right, let's try a cube. There we go. So now we've got this kind of cube thing. So it's, and then that cube, all the dimensions of that cube are being displaced by this mesh, this noise. And then here on the ending shape, we can change that to spheres. So now they're all spheres, you see. That's pretty interesting. They do look, yeah, you can see some of the shininess now in there, reflecting the environment. It's pretty nice. And then if we want to, we can make them all much bigger like this. That's nice, yeah. And then we can change these back to cubes if we want. So now they look kind of like Lego. It looks like Lego, doesn't it? Hey! All right, so now I want to make these kind of weird sort of things inside by joining them all together with like a mesh. This is also pretty straightforward. Let's put this over here. We can just make a jit.gl.mesh. And we can just plug the output of this into the mesh. And now what it's doing is that it's taking all that same dimension data and applying it to this mesh, but it's sort of like inside the shape, which sort of, I don't know, just makes it look very weird. I think I just sort of quite like it. And And we can take another PBR here and apply this to this mesh. And we can maybe apply the blending. So let's say at blend enable 1, at blend add. Ooh, okay, so there's a little bit of transparency there, tiny bit. We can sort of see, yeah, look at these weird reflections down here. It's reflecting the skybox sort of on the, let's make it a bit bigger. Let's zoom in a little bit. We can sort of see sometimes some reflections. Yeah, you can see the reflections. Or that's a reflection. That's not transparency. I can't actually tell. It's too much information for my brain to take. I can't work out if this is a nice color scheme either. Anyway, it's starting to look pretty interesting. But let's do some flashy stuff inside the mesh. Let's make a jit.noise here. Let's say 3 planes, float 32. And let's say it's the same dimensions as the starting shape. So let's say 100 by 100. And yeah, again, why don't we try this speed limb thing? Actually, we could take both of these. And we could maybe say that this is going at 16th notes. And let's see what we get there. So let's have a look. P window. Okay, we're getting some noise there. And then that can go into the color array of the mesh and we get nothing. How nice. I wonder why that is. Even though I'm trying to do as much of this as from memory as possible, I do have a screenshot of my practice patch, and my practice patch is telling me that I've done this right. And yet this patch is telling me, no, you haven't. You failed. So let's work out why. Is it because of the blend? Is it because the blend is wrong? Let's try color add. No, alpha add. No, these are all wrong. No. These are all. Oh, that's nice. That's a little bit more. Yeah, that's much better. But still, I'm not getting the flashing colors. Why could that be? Do I need to go into the PBR? Oh, let's try the PBR instead. Going into the normal diffuse. Let's see what that's like. Oh, no, that's not it. No, that is not it at all. Why? Why aren't you working, Max? Come on. We were getting on so well last night. Ah, okay. I think I've worked it out. I think maybe connecting the PBR was causing the issue. So don't use a PBR with the mesh. Go backtrack to just a minute ago and delete that PBR. We don't want that. This is what I want. Okay, this is much better. So yes, now I've kind of made this sort of flickering light show on the mesh that's inside this weird collection of blocks. There we go. I don't know what this weird circle is here. Is that the camera or something? I'd like to know. We'll find out more about that later. Right, okay, so now let's try that blend mode again then. Let's go for blend mode. Blend enable 1. Yes, that's a little bit better. Okay, so let's see what different blend modes we can use. What was the one I liked? Screen. Is that the one? Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, we can kind of see through it. Yeah, I like that. This is very experimental, very abstract. I'm not really going for anything at all. It's just a weird Monday morning thing. Okay, so let's put that in the mesh. Let's say at blend enable 1 at blend screen. Ah, now it's changed. Oh, this is Max. You do things and then you think you know what you're doing and then you don't. So actually, screen or add kind of look the same. I don't think it really matters. Let's just go with add, actually. Add. Okay, now it looks different again. This is confusing. All right, you know what? Let's just leave it at that. Okay, it looks fine. It looks fine. So a couple of other things I want to do, actually. I want to maybe apply a little bit of slide to the noise that is causing all the geometry to move around. So let's just move this down a little bit. Let's all move this stuff down a little bit. And then let's move all this stuff up a little bit. And then in here, we're going to put a matrix, jit.matrix 3, float 32, oops, float 32 at, we can just say 100 by 100, it's fine. And then I'm going to put a slide in here, jit.slide at slide up, let's say 3, at slide down, let's say 5. And then it's, no, that's not worked. Ah, that's not worked because we need to bang this matrix at the frame rate. There we go. Now they're just kind of moving and sort of shifting and mutating. I don't know. Okay, so that is pretty much that for the for this part of the patch. Maybe we can set something here for the color of the inside of the mesh inside. I don't think it's really going to make any difference. No, it doesn't. No, it's not making any difference. Okay, never mind. That's fine. So we can change the color of our blocks though to orange if we want. Maraschino, that's very interesting. Salmon, which doesn't really look salmony. I think because we're using PBR, it's all sort of slightly different. This is kind of nice. Teal. What was the one I was using? Midnight. Oh, plum. Okay, let's go with plum. I'm not very great with colors. You know, I'm not a designer, but you might have better ideas than me. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get this onto a node so that we can do the post-processing. I'm just going to put that up there. And then down here, I'll make a jit.gl.node. You can obviously do this by using the naming convention, but I'm just going to plug everything in. So let's say jit.gl.node at capture 1, and then I'll make a jit.gl.layer down here, and I shall say at layer, let's say 0. That now means everything's disappeared. This is all going to look a little bit weird. Now, out of this middle outlet here of the jit.gl.node, anything that I connect this to is now going to get captured to that node tree, that node render. So I want to connect it to this, the multiple, I think, the grid shape, the PBR. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. The mesh here, the skybox, and the environment. Maybe not the environment. Okay, let's now. So everything's disappeared. That's because everything is now being rendered to this, which we can't see. So we take the output of the node and connect it to this layer. There we go. Everything's back. Brilliant. It works. I love it when it works. Right. Okay. So yeah, now we've got our 3D render scene on a texture, a 2D texture, which is pretty nice because that means we can do some more fun stuff. So I'm going to start with trying to do that kind of very crude sort of outline shader thing. It's just sort of something I was looking at recently. I was watching some videos with Unreal Engine, and a guy was talking about he's made this outline shader thing. I was like, oh, is that what it's called? Oh, that's what that's called. But I'm not saying that that's what this is. This is just my sort of crap version of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Visi. Visi is really useful because it's super quick. We're going to get this sketcher thing, and I'm just going to plug the output of this node. So now that we've got this, which is our 3D render scene, but on a texture, we can sort of split this into loads of different directions and do loads of different processes on them, and then add them all back together. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So if we actually look at this, what we have here is some edge detection. This is a edge detection Visi device, which is really, really, really good. And then you can flick it from normal to invert like that. And if I can maybe make this a bit bigger, we can sort of look at it more. Yeah, you can sort of see what it's doing. It's finding the edges. It's very, very, very cool. So let's use that. But what we're going to do is mix that back with our original image, our original texture. So let's make a jit.gl.pix. And let's plug that in there, and then straight away we get this because they're just being added together. But I don't really want that. Let's try mix 0.5. Right. So now everything's gone a little bit dark. Okay, let's try mix 0.25. So a little bit more of the original image and a little bit more of the edgelord image, right? So, and let's invert that. Oh, let's put it back to normal. There we go. So now we've got a little bit of those lines coming through, but we've got a bit of the original image, and you can see that it sort of looks a bit cartoony and weird. And I kind of love it. It's very weird on the eyes. It's kind of satisfying. It does look like a sort of 80s cartoon. And being an 80s child, I can't resist this stuff. Pretty nice. I wonder if we put a light in the middle, if that will make any difference. Let's try this. Let's make a light, jit.gl.light at type point at position 000 at shadows 1. I'm not sure if this will work. Oh, maybe it has a bit. Yes, it's added, I think, a little bit of light in the middle, just to sort of increase the intensity of this weird mesh stuff. And we can kind of get inside it, which is sort of funny as well. And with the Q and Z, we can sort of look underneath. We'll come back up like this, but I like using the arrow keys. Okay, that's very nice. So we're not just kind of done there. There's still some more stuff we could do. We could experiment with this a little bit. Let's keep that there. Let's maybe take another one of these sketcher things. And let's see if we can let's maybe just see what happens if we add these together. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a bit, this is all a little bit much. I was going to see if I could maybe apply some feedback along the way. Let's have a look at this. That's the inverted version. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's try it. Let's try it. So let's make a jit.gl.pix. And then somewhere we need to take like an original. All right, so let's take this one. And actually, no, let's take this one. And then what we're going to do is feed it back with, I think somewhere I've got my snippet for, so look at the snippets here. Rotor TD MaxSnip. Yep, that's it. So this is just a quick little snippet I made of jit.gl.slab with the td.rotor.jxs file, which is the same as jit.rotor, but it's working on a texture. It's a shader. It's a rotation shader. So let's take that, put that in there, and now we've made like a little feedback loop of that texture. And let's see what that looks like. It's an absolute mess. That's fine. So let's just go in here and say, let's multiply this by 0.6. And then we can sort of try like a bit of zooming here. Yeah, now we're zooming. Got some zoom feedback. Let's see if we can add this to this. See what this looks like. Okay, so we can increase the threshold there or decrease the threshold to get more lines, and then the contrast is kind of how thick the lines are. So it's even working on the clouds. It's making the clouds look a little bit cartoony. I kind of like it. All right, but let's see if we can add it to this weird feedback thing. Let's make another jit.gl.pix here and just simply add these together and see what we get. Oh my God. Right, okay. This is interesting. I think maybe it's sort of a bit weird now. Let's try slightly less zoom. Let's try like 1.01. It sort of makes it look a bit frothy. It's a little much. Let's swap the... Oh my goodness me. No, that won't do. Let's maybe try the mix rather than adding them together. Or maybe the question mark. I'm not very good with all of these operator things. No, the question mark won't work. Let's try mix 0.25. Yeah, we sort of lost a little bit of the color, but then what we can do is maybe send the original to another layer. So let's take a copy of the layer here. And I think maybe we could enable blend on both of these. Enable 1. Yeah, that's interesting. And then let's do the same here at blend enable 1. And now I think we need to say which layer is on top, or yeah, so 0 is top and 1 would be beneath it. Oh, that's interesting. What blend do we want? Let's say at blend add. And for this one, let's say at blend add. Oh, wow. Now it's very bright, but that's interesting. So let me, yeah, so we're getting a little bit of, it's a little bit too bright now, but maybe that works. Maybe that works. I mean, it still looks cool. It's just very white. There might be something we can do with that. If we use Visi again, Visi has got some really sort of useful stuff. We've got this Technicolor thing here, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure what it does. I'm guessing it makes everything look like Technicolor. But you can sort of choose between these different Technicolor things. And whoa, see, now we've made it look a bit yellow. There's just so many variables. There's so much stuff to do. Kind of looks fun though. I mean, it's got a style. It's got a certain style. I'm not a visual artist. I'm not a designer. I don't know what this stuff looks like. I just like to tinker until I see something I like and I go, ooh, I'm an artist now. But I think this looks kind of interesting. It's got some personality. I mean, even this black and white version down here looks pretty fun by itself. We can do negative zooming like that. Let's maybe label this comment zoom. This sort of feedback thing is, it's not really working particularly great, but let's leave it in there anyway. Maybe we just need to find a good way to composite all this stuff together. Maybe let's try the Technicolor, not here, but here instead. I wouldn't normally use layers either. I normally use a video plane, but I was playing around with them last night and I thought maybe it might be better, but don't know. Let's try a different Technicolor thing. Well, this one's, yeah, so you can just sort of play with the color a little bit. Oh, that's way too white. Maybe one thing might be to do is to maybe bring in the Burkoser and we can just bring the brightness down a little bit. Let's look for Burkoser. There we go. These Visi things are really useful. They're really quick. You can just pop them. Oh my God, what have I done? Oh, wow. Okay, let's bring the brightness right down. Contrast up. Saturation down. Oh, my goodness me. Wow. Even though it's not really... Now, look at it. Look what I've done now. So we can still... Yeah, this is very weird. So you can see the zooming inside, but the zooming is getting all the zoom feedback is getting all the edge detection as well. So it's very strange. It's like a sort of naff kind of plastic prism. It's like some sort of shit seaside toy or something from like 1987. Like pretty glowing colours that sort of, and you're like, what does it do? I don't care. It's flashy and plastic and exciting. I think it looks pretty nice. And you know, if you use like a different HDRI, we'll get a different result as well. So I did download like a handful of HDRIs last night. What's this one? This is like a winter's evening type thing. So, well, yeah. So now we're in this. Now it's all completely different. We're in this world now. It's kind of yucky. I don't know if it looks good or not. We've got a blend of black lines and white lines on the edge detection. Yes, this is an experimental YouTube channel. I try not to make things that exist. I try to make things that don't exist. Yeah, so this is sort of a HDRI of just like a nighttime golf course or something. But I think the one with the clouds was best. Let's go back to the one with the clouds. Oh, I haven't made space to drop it. Okay, let's drop it like it's hot. Here we go. Let's put, is it that one? Yes, it's that one there. Let's put that in there. Let's come back. Yeah, I like this one better. So that's kind of it, really. I mean, there's so much more that you could do. Once, personally, for me, I'm interested in this idea of being able to render a 3D scene and then get it as a texture, so that you can do all this kind of mad stuff with it, and sort of process it in lots of interesting ways. Yeah, we can sort of play with that a little bit now. Yeah, there's just lots of stuff to play with here. Let's say 1.01, and we could actually maybe make a param here for the feedback. Let's say param feedback. Let's say at min 0 at max 0.999 or something like that. We can say here, well, oh, let's actually give it a default value, say 0.7 maybe. And then here we can say multiply by feedback. And then we come out of the gen, and then which one was it? It was that one, wasn't it? I think here we can do prepend feedback. Put a little float in here, connect that there and connect that there, and then we can increase the feedback. Yeah, wow, look at it now. Look what it's doing now. It's very weird. We're not quite seeing the, yeah, no, we are a little bit. If you kind of look at certain angles, you can see that there is a bit of the environment reflecting in the blocks, which is kind of weird. If we turn the skybox off, let's disable the skybox. Then we get this, which is a little bit more like what I did in the starting video, which is kind of weird because, again, you can sort of see the reflection of the environment in the blocks, even though there's no environment. So that's just like another option that you can have if you want, or maybe you want the skybox on. It's entirely up to you. Maybe, I wonder if, Let's just see what these different things look like. Let's put this back to 0.75 or whatever. Yeah, the blend between the black lines and the white lines is kind of interesting. Although our zooming has sort of suddenly stopped. I wonder why that could be. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. I can't do with this anymore. I will just keep tweaking and tweaking forever and I'll get nothing done. That's interesting. At the front here, it's really bright. And then here at the back, it's a little bit darker. I wonder if that's because of the lighting. Interesting. Anyway, let's do a quick recap on that. Our weird kind of crap 80s toy prism. So we start with a jit.gl.grid shape in the shape of the whatever it is that we want to use. We could change this now to a sphere, obviously. We can change it to a torus if we want, but I like cube best. And then we output the matrix. The matrix then goes into jit.gl.multiple and then goes into a grid shape. So that's the starting shape and that's the ending shape. So the ending shape is the actual shape of the objects. So if we put this to sphere now, these are all spheres, which looks kind of interesting as well. But I prefer cubes. So we've got our starting shape and our ending shape. And in the middle, we're displacing the geometry of the output of this grid shape with some random noise, whilst also simultaneously sending the same matrix data to a mesh, which is sort of the thing inside, which is getting some noise on the color array input to make this kind of weird plastic flashy glass stuff. And we've got a camera in there. So when we click on here with the mouse, we can move around and I change the keys from the WASD keys to the left, right, up, down keys. We've got an environment where we can load in an HDRI, which you can get free from this website. And then we've got a skybox to show the environment, which we can turn on and off like that. And then the whole thing gets captured to this node, which then allows us to get the 3D scene as a two-dimensional texture, which we can then do some post-processing with in order to create these sort of weird stylistic effects. And then they go to two separate layers where we can kind of make a blend between the two layers. Oh my God, what did I do there? Let's take a copy of that and put that in with this one. Oh, I've ruined it now. Wow. Now it's like hell. I've made it like hell. Oh, this is pretty nice. Oh, look how much. Now that is looking very technical. It looks disgusting. Anyway, you can see how much fun you can have, the limitless possibilities of stuff you can do with Max. Max is cool, isn't it? I love Max. So much fun. Best money I ever spent. But now I've made my patch look disgusting. Oh no, you know what? I'm going to take that out. Put that back. Yeah. Oh, hang on. No, do that properly. Hold shift, take that out. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go and put this on my Patreon now, where if you'd like to sign up there and you want to play with this patch, plus many other Max patches and Ableton Live stuff, you can do that. And it all goes towards supporting me so that I can make more content like this, which I hope you enjoy very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.